Hare Krishna, we are reading from the book Teachings of Queen Kunti. We are on prayer 8. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Text 25. And let's read. Because of these beautiful prayers, it is compiled in a separate book called Teachings of Queen Kunti. It comes from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Text 25. I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. So we have been reading the purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And we are going to continue with the purport. And that is, did we finish this? No, cent. Oh yeah, I think we finished this yesterday. Give 1 cent. 1 cent. Krishna conscious. Okay. Before winning the battle of Kurukshetra, all the Pandavas were put into many dangers, as already described in the previous verses. They were given poison. They were put into a house of lac that was later set on fire. And sometimes they were even confronted with great man-eating demons. You know, imagine if we were given poison by someone, whole life we would hold a grudge against that person. Whole life we will keep saying the whole thing. Or if we were put in a house and put fire on, we would get, PTSD or something, and our whole existence would be consumed by it. Or a demon comes in front of us and wants to eat us. What would be our mental state? And then the Pandavas, they lost their kingdom, they lost their wife, they lost their prestige, and they were exiled to the forest. So they really went through a lot. What did they think? What were they saying? But throughout all those dangers, Krishna was there. When the Kauravas were trying to strip Draupadi naked, Krishna was there supplying cloth to protect her honor. Krishna was always there. So Krishna was always with the Pandavas. They are his pure devotees. Krishna says to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, declare it boldly, O Parth, that my devotee never perishes. Means that he is always protecting his devotee. Not that the devotee does not give up this body, material body. He is going to, because that's the rule of the material world. This material body has to be given up. But what Krishna protects is the person, the soul. So therefore, but in this case, Krishna is protecting the Pandavas when they were going through so many dangers. Therefore, when the Pandavas went to see their grandfather, Bhishma Dev, on his deathbed, Bhishma Dev began to cry. These boys, my grandsons, are all very pious, he said. Maharaj Yudhishthira is the oldest of the brothers. He is the most pious person. He is even called Dharmaraj, the king of religion. Bhim and Arjun are both devotees, and they are such powerful heroes that they can kill thousands of men. Their wife Draupadi is directly the goddess of fortune, and it has been enjoined that wherever she is, there will be no scarcity of food. Thus, they all form a wonderful combination. And moreover, Lord Krishna is always with them, but still they are suffering. Thus he began to cry, saying, I do not know what is Krishna's arrangement, because such pious devotees are all suffering. So Bhishma Dev is saying, such pious, exalted devotees, and Krishna himself with them, what's happening? Why is this happening? And so he cries, because he says, no one can understand the plan of the Lord. Only Krishna can understand what's his plan. We might think we know what's Krishna's plan, but only the Lord can know what's his plan. Therefore, we should not think, because I have become a devotee, there will be no danger of suffering. Prahlad Maharaj suffered greatly. So did other devotees, like the Pandavas and Haridas Thakur. But we should not be disturbed by such sufferings. We must have firm faith, firm conviction, knowing Krishna is present and he will give me protection. Don't try to take the benefit of any shelter other than Krishna. Always take to Krishna. So Prabhupada is trying to tell us that there will be suffering, there will be dangers. There's always, we are in pandemics, war. This material world, there's padam padam yat vipadam. There's danger at every step. So what is the proposal? Take shelter of Krishna. Take shelter of Krishna. and have that faith, that conviction that Krishna will take care of me. He has always taken care of me. He is taking care of me, and he will continue to take care of me. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Kaunteya pratijanihi na me bhakta pranashyati. My dear Arjuna, you may declare to the world that my devotee is never vanquished. So here, Krishna is telling to Arjuna, you declare it, that my devotee is never vanquished. Now, one may ask, why did Krishna advise Arjuna to declare this? Why did he not declare it himself? The answer is that if Krishna himself made this declaration, it might be suspect, because Krishna sometimes violates his own promise. Sometimes Krishna goes back on his promise, but we have to see, when does Krishna go back on his promise? When he needs to protect the devotee. Krishna he's not an ordinary moralist. He's not like, oh, I've taken a vow, so I cannot take away I cannot break my promise. That's the most important. No, he's not an ordinary moralist. He says, my devotee is the most important for me. For my devotee, I don't care about my reputation. I can break my promise for the sake of my devotee. And he showed it in the battle of Mahabharata, when he picked up the chariot wheel to protect Arjuna. So with the chariot wheel pastime, what he showed, that my devotee Arjuna is so dear to me, I don't care about my promise. I'm going to protect him. And also, Bhishma Dev, he wanted to see Krishna in this form. He wanted to break Krishna to break his promise. So Krishna loves both his devotees so much. One devotee wants to break his promise, and here another devotee needs protection. Arjuna, Krishna said, I don't care for my promise. It's okay for me. For me, what's important is my devotee. That's how much he loves each and every one of us. So then, but the promise of a devotee will never be violated. When a devotee promises something, Krishna makes sure that that promise has to be kept. And that's the reason sometimes when his devotees give such benedictions, then Krishna has to fulfill it. And then the devotee feels, oh my God, I'm sorry I put you through it. For example, when Brahmaji gave the benediction to Hiranyakashipu, you're not going to die inside, outside, day, night, man, animal, not by any weapon, all that. So that's why Krishna had to take the form of Lord Nrsimhadev to keep his devotees' promise. Krishna makes sure that his devotees' promises are always kept. So then, this is Krishna's concern. Oh, my devotee has declared this. I must see that his word is kept. This is Krishna's position because of his affection for his devotee. Therefore, Lord Krishna said, you declare it. If I declare it, people may not believe it. But if you declare it, they will believe you. Why? Because you are a devotee. Even though Krishna may break his own promise, he wants to see that the promises of his devotees are fulfilled. He doesn't care about himself. He's like, my devotee's promise is more important. I'm going to make sure that my devotee's promise is fulfilled. Therefore, we must take to Krishna consciousness and adhere to this consciousness under all circumstances, even in the most dangerous position. We must keep our faith in Krishna's lotus feet, and then there will be no danger. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, take shelter of Krishna, take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. That is the only true way to become fearless. Otherwise, we are all fearful. We are all very fearful. But to the degree we take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, to that degree our fear goes away. And one who has complete faith in Krishna's lotus feet, he becomes abhayam. Abhayam, fearless at the lotus feet of the Lord. Is that okay? Yes. Did you want to add anything or share anything?
Actually, there was Ravi Lochan Prabhu said that Kamala Tala Jala Jivana Talamala. Kamala, it's there in the bhajan, right? Bhajahureman Sri Nandanan. No. It's there in one of the bhajans.
Yeah, that's the one, Bhajahureman.
Bhajahureman.
Yeah.
So then he said that the whole life is like that only. But the shelter is only the lotus feet, like as you mentioned.
Shelter. Very nice. Yes, very beautiful.
And he said, like he said in such a touching way. I'll try to find out, because those small things that they just make. So I saw that on that.
Wonderful. Yes.
It
Yes.
was really beautiful.
Yes, it's true. True. We don't realize that the whole life is like that. Because that's the reason Bhagavatam also says, right? Padam padam yat vipadam. There is danger at every step. That what's the danger? At any moment we can leave this body. At any moment anything can happen. So take shelter of Krishna. Don't postpone it for later. Take shelter of Krishna now. Thank you. Thank you so much. Kunti Maharani ki jai, Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta ki jai, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.